What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Moose Milk Podcast. This is episode 76. 76? I actually hope it's 76. I didn't check, so if it's not 76, I lied, but yeah, 76. I'm your host, Ryan. Waiting for Matt to join us. He's quick on the joining right now. He's already in here. This is Benny, by the way. There he is. Look at this guy.
Hey, man.
What's going on, buddy?
You know.
Well, I know.
Living the dream.
Hell yeah, buddy. COVID-free?
I still have, like, a cough, and I still sound sick, and,
I'm getting
still,
it now,
like,
too.
I'm still pretty tired, too.
I don't have COVID, apparently, but I've felt like dumped for the last 2 days, so.
Oh, like cold or flu or?
Yeah, I'm just all like, I don't know. I was congested, and now I'm not, but I fucking woke up today with like a really bad headache, so I don't know.
I think the cold is going around right now, so.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's not COVID, but, you know.
Yeah. I'm still, I didn't test today, but I tested on Thursday, and I was still positive, so. And that was after a week, so. That being said,
well,
I went
apparently,
and saw Thor anyway. But
apparently you're only transmittable for 5 days.
5 days, yeah. So that was day 7 for me, so I deemed it okay.
I mean, at this point, who knows? Who cares anymore?
Yeah.
Everything's transmittable.
Yep, true. Hello, Frank Strange. Hola, buenos noches. See?
See?
Spanish. Is that Spanish? I think that's Spanish.
Baxter, you know I don't speak Spanish.
You know I don't speak Spanish. In English, please.
You ate an entire wheel of cheese? You can't even be angry. That's just
refrigerator.
Yeah, so people that don't know, tonight we're going to talk Thor Love and Thunder. We've both seen it now. Lots to talk about there, full of spoilers, so be prepared. But first, we're going to talk also about Miss Marvel season finale. Anything else that we've been watching throughout the week, because I've watched more than any human should.
I watched a lot this week too, by my standards. You know me. Usually it's like 1 or 2 things.
Frank Strange, I can't decipher that one. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm not
me neither. I got nothing. Frank Strange,
I only got English on me, brother.
I don't know what it says though. I wish you could translate in the comments too.
Yeah, that would be useful.
Sometimes you get on like Facebook and stuff, but not like, yeah.
But you're welcome here. I don't speak Spanish. I'm sorry.
Yes, me neither. I hardly speak English.
So you dove into Stranger Things this week.
Yeah, we watched season 1, and then we've watched 2 episodes of season 2, and I'm not really into season 2 as much, but season 1 was pretty good, I guess. Like it was, I don't know, it was okay. I mean, I think we talked offline, but like, yeah, I feel like a lot of the, you know, the thing that really sells Stranger Things to a lot of people is the nostalgia for the 80s vibe, and I just like, I don't really have a lot of nostalgia for the 80s, even though I was born in the 80s. Like my nostalgia is all 90s based. So yeah. It's like a lot of, I think the charm that people get out of it is that it's lost on me, because like I just don't really care that much about the 80s stuff. Oh, sure. I saw Frank Strange said, "Greetings from Mexico. I'm a big fan of your work." Thanks, man. Thank you. Appreciate that. It's very nice. But yeah, so
I apologize for not even speaking Spanish. Just
imagine. Oh, he said, "Sorry, I'm using Google Translate." Hey, whatever works. It worked, so that worked. But yeah, so I don't know. Like, it was fine. I'm not saying it wasn't good. It was good, and like I like a lot of the characters. I liked the storyline. I thought it was pretty like smart and pretty original, and yeah, I don't know. I thought it was pretty good. There were some stuff where I was like, Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't remember enough to like argue it. So, but I mean, it was fine. It was fine. But it's like it's funny because yesterday I was tired. I fell asleep as we watched episode 1, and then tonight when we came home from Kate's parents, we watched episode 2, and like I was pretty tired again, and like I was having a hard time like hanging on, if I'm being honest. So,
but COVID does that too.
Hopefully, it'll start to pick up. I mean, the thing is like I didn't have any issues falling asleep during season 1. So, but
well, like I said, season 2 is considered the weakest of the 4 seasons by fans and everything. Like, I love season 2, but I still think it's the weakest season.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I really enjoy the show. My dog is just driving me absolutely insane. He's so hyper.
Oh, Finnegan, little fucker. While you're gone, I'm going to show off what I'm working on. Look at this. I started painting the Professor Xavier hover chair. Man, looks so good when you put some paint on it.
That is very cool, dude.
Right?
That is awesome, yeah.
Added little details on it and stuff.
I dig that.
Because I'm doing my green jumpsuit Professor Xavier right now, so.
I also see that you have 2 completely empty shelves behind you, so.
I actually have
3. Oh.
It's almost the whole side. I have to empty that because I got to put that new shelf in to put Sentinel in.
Gotcha.
I need to empty it entirely before I can really. But it sucks because I don't really have the room to empty it. Like I have to put them into totes, but they're like everywhere. Like this whole room is a fucking disaster. Look at this. It's just shit everywhere.
Yeah.
It's not good. Kate's not a fan.
Crying shame.
But yeah.
No, I don't know. Like for me, Stranger Things. I mean, I was 5, like maximum 5 in the '80s, so it's not like it's like actual nostalgia, but like it's just.
But it plays off the things that you liked about like '80s film and stuff.
Yeah,
you like a lot of like '80s horror and.
'80s horror is huge for me, and I don't know. I just like it's a simpler time where there's no cell phones, there's no internet. I really like that aspect of it. Like I'm nostalgic for that time where everybody wasn't so interconnected that you could kind of get lost. And like I think that's what Stranger Things does a lot is like it's hard for them to communicate to each other, and things happen and they can't immediately call a friend or find out where they are and I don't know. I love that vibe, and I think horror's kind of suffered from that in like
totally. There's a lot of
the present time because
from classic tropes because of technology.
Right, like Friday the 13th wouldn't work now because you just dial your parents and you're like, yo, there's a fucking murderer out here, like pick me up, you know. You know, you call the cops, you call whatever. Like, I don't know. There's creative ways to bring that stuff back, but I think the interconnectivity of the world now makes a lot of horror way harder. And
yeah, I agree.
Stranger Things, I think, is just really good at making it spooky, but it's not like gory in a way. It's just got that weird, like, kind of young teen vibe of horror that's like, I don't know, almost like a Goosebumps book, but a little more mature than that. I don't know. I love it. I love the characters. I love the vibe. I love the music. Like it's all synth and stuff, and I love that kind of shit. So I don't know. I love it, but I understand that it's not for everybody. And if you're not feeling it, you're not feeling it. Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, as long as Kate's watching it, as long as Kate's on it, I'll watch it. So even if I don't end up liking season 2 and she keeps going, I'll go until she stops probably.
Yeah.
So, unless something really turns on me and I end up really getting into it, then I'll keep going. But
yeah. Anything else did you watch this week?
Yeah, I watched a lot this week.
I said that like Yoda for some reason, but
you can watch it. I watched after last week's show. I watched. I think I told you about it, but there's a Obi-Wan Kenobi fan cut, and basically someone cut all the Obi-Wan Kenobi episodes into a 2.5 hour movie and cut out a bunch of like stuff that wasn't really necessary.
Right.
It was really good. Like it was really good. I felt like
you said the pacing was kind of weird or something, right?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is like it ends up doing this. It ends up doing the same, suffering from the same thing that the long version does. Like it's like in the short version, you are like, oh, here's Nori, like that Jedi that shows up in looking for Obi-Wan at the beginning, and then it's like 2 minutes later, it's like, oh, Nori's dead. It's like, okay, here goes the next thing. We're gonna do this. Okay, here we go. This. Okay, that's done now. Let's go to the next thing. So it's like everything is just like, hey, here's something new. Okay, it's done now. Here's something new. Okay, it's done now. But it, like in the opposite effect, like yes, it does like help with the pacing and like, you know, like some people are like, oh, it makes Reva's character like less annoying, which like I don't really know that I feel that because like I never really found Reva's character annoying. Like, I found somebody who was like pretty over passionate about what they wanted to achieve. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You know, so it's like I get that. But yeah, I don't know. It was good. Like the thing I liked about it was I felt like it was like all the best moments of the series kind of condensed, and like I wanted to go back and watch it as a whole, like after we had gotten through like week by week. Like, you know, I really enjoyed Obi-Wan Kenobi, right?
Yep.
But yeah, this will suffice for now. So it was 2.5 hours and it was good. I can't remember where I got it, but if anybody wants to see it, I have the link from the website that I watched it on. So it was good.
That's cool, man.
I also obviously went and saw Thor, which we'll talk about tonight, and obviously Miss Marvel. Last week I mentioned that I'd started rewatching season 1 of Community, and now I'm into season 2, and I finally started cracking down on season 15 of Always Sunny. So I got about halfway through. I got to the gang replaces D with a monkey is where I left off.
I love that episode.
Yeah, it's like, you know, it's not as good. I mean, I don't find season 15 as good, but I know they were shooting during COVID, so I know that doesn't help either. But
it's a lot of closed sets in that season where, like, you can clearly tell that they weren't allowed to do a lot. But I fucking died with that monkey, man.
That's a good one, yeah. So, and I like the whole scene of them like buying the roller rink and stuff like that. That's pretty funny too.
See, my problem with that episode, and I mean, obviously spoilers for Always Sunny, but it's a comedy show, so it doesn't really matter. That episode completely like counterdicts like so much other stuff in the show. It's like, we all know that Dee wasn't some super smart, like, nice girl in high school. She was fucking the aluminum monster and fucking she was made fun of all the time.
See, for me as a casual viewer, like not a, you know, I like the show, but like I don't know the characters that well because I've only, you know, rewatched some of the seasons a handful of times, right? But yeah, I didn't even think about that. But yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, like it completely contradicts almost the entire series, so I just don't understand where that episode is coming from. But whatever. I mean, it's a comedy show. For all we know, they could be on drugs in that episode and just making up their past. Like, who knows? The show's bonkers. So
it is weird.
Yeah,
but yeah, and I think that was it. That was it. Well, I was going to talk about Secret Santa really quick. So we got signups for Secret Santa for Legendary Summer Swap or Secret Swap. They're up till July 31st. If anyone has any questions, it's basically a custom figure swap, so you do have to be a figure customizer. But if anybody out there listening is a figure customizer and would like to try joining us for that secret figure swap, just hit me up and I can fill you in. But signups are up till the 31st of July. And yeah, there's like 22 people signed up right now. So we haven't even started recruiting really. We just opened it up and wrote down names of who was in, and
it feels like it's getting bigger every time you do it.
I want to hit 50 this year. That's what I want. Last year we had 43, I think it was.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah, it's good. So, but I want to. I would like to be able to get to 50 this year. But it sucks because there's a lot of good ones who participated last year that don't have time this year. So we are losing some people, but I'm gonna go into recruitment mode this week sometime, maybe tomorrow, and send some messages to some people in the community and just see if we can get those numbers up a bit.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
How did your Wednesday stream go?
Wednesday stream went pretty good. I went back to customizing for this week, and we'll probably for next week as well, just so I have 2 more projects I have to kind of finish up. But yeah, it was good, and I got a lot done. So I'm gonna actually put the finishing touches on them tonight and put them back together tomorrow and be fucking done with it. So fucking A. What did you watch this week? What did you watch?
Oh man, I watched fucking so much shit. So I decided to go back and rewatch What We Do in the Shadows season 1 and 2. Because season 4 premiered on Tuesday. So season 1 and 2 is on Disney.
Are they doing it weekly? Like the new season? Yeah.
They premiered with 2 episodes, but I think it's 1 episode a week after that. But
right.
What We Do in the Shadows, really funny show. Taika Waititi's involved and Jermaine Clement from Flight of the Conchords. Kind of based off the movie, but does its own thing. First 2 seasons are on Disney Plus in Canada, at least. I don't know if it's in the States as well, but really funny show, really dry humor. One of my favorite shows. So I watched the first 2 seasons of that, and then the season 4 2-episode premiere. Both really good. I also obviously saw Thor Love and Thunder last week. We'll talk about that. Better Call Saul came back for I think it's the last 6 episodes of the series.
Oh, nice.
So,
did it all drop at once?
No, it's weekly, but first episode dropped. So it's phenomenal. The show is fucking fantastic. So anybody that hasn't watched Better Call Saul, huge fan, recommend it highly. It's one of the best shows on television for sure.
Nice.
What else? Resident Evil, the Netflix series.
Oh, yeah. I didn't hear good things about that.
It's not good. So look,
it's not good.
I'll put it this way. I'm a huge Resident Evil fan of the video games. I've played every single video game of the main series. I've been playing them since I was 14, 15 years old on PlayStation. Yeah, I'm a big Resident Evil guy. As a fan of the games, the show has a lot of little touchstones and callbacks to the games that I appreciate. It does some cool little things as a fan of the genre of zombies and as a fan of the game, but the dialogue is some of the worst written dialogue I've ever seen in a show. To the point where it's embarrassingly bad.
That's not good.
Awkwardly bad, where you're just cringing at how bad the dialogue is. It's amazing to me that it got through to Netflix executives and they were yeah, put this on. We're gonna give you a budget and put this on. If I saw the script, I would have said, yeah,
good to go.
Exactly. If I would have saw the script for the show, I would have said, no, that needs to go back to the writer's room and you need to put another draft through on that.
Shit out.
Yeah, it's really bad. And the games are also very, very cringy on purpose. It's supposed to, it's Japanese directed video games. So there's also that language barrier there, but it's just very B-movie cheese, at least in the early games. And I don't know if they were making the show cheesy on purpose to reference that.
Like that? Yeah.
But it's bad. It's just really bad. So
that sucks.
I would not recommend it if you're not a fan of the video games. It's only 8 episodes. It's not really that scary in any way. It's not there's some gory scenes, but it's not I don't know. If you like the games, you'll have some appreciation for the show. But if you don't like the games or aren't familiar with the games, I don't think anybody's going to like the show. It's not for everybody, and it's definitely not good television. It's something to watch if you're desperate for something to watch.
Right.
I just finished watching Jurassic World Dominion.
Oh, nice.
We'll talk about that next week. That's going to be next week's episode. But
yes.
To say lightly, I did not like it. And then at
least the dino scenes were cool. Or maybe not all of them, but some of them were cool.
The best scene in the movie to me is spoilers for Jurassic Park Dominion, is that raptor scene where Chris Pratt's on the motorcycle, going through the streets and the raptors are chasing him. I think that's the coolest scene in the movie, but the rest of the movie I thought was bad to
pretty
boring.
Bad, yeah. We should talk next week about why we don't have a good Jurassic Park sequel too, because
we have pieces of stuff.
That's not enough.
No, it's not. After 5 sequels, it's just
especially because they have free reign. there's nobody else making dinosaur movies. Like it's like everyone was like, Jurassic Park claimed this territory, so we're not going to touch it. They get free reign to do anything they want, and the stuff they choose to do, you're like, what? Why? Like, why would you do that of all things? Like in this one in particular, you bring everyone back, and again, I won't spoil it. But
we'll get into it next week.
The plot of the story, it's just like, what?
Yeah,
that's what we're talking about here.
Nobody else is doing dinosaur movies because of how good the first Jurassic Park movie is, and I think
how do you beat that, and how do you compete with it?
Exactly, and then I just think everybody's scared off because of that. But I mean, we're talking almost 30 years now. It's time for somebody else to come in and do something cool with dinosaurs. And
you would think that in the age of like the nostalgic movie callbacks to like what those things that we loved to 30 years ago, 40 years ago, or whatever, you would think in this era somebody would have done something.
Yeah,
you would think this Jurassic World would have been that.
Well, I think that's what the intention was. I like Jurassic World, like the first Jurassic World movie. I think it's good. I don't think it's great, but I think it's the best sequel probably out of all of them. But
to me, Jurassic World 1 is the problem with it against Jurassic Park is that it's forgettable. Like, I think I've saw Jurassic World 1 like 3 times maybe. And like, honestly, right off the top of my head, there's nothing that really stands out to me as like so good that it stays with my memory. Like,
we'll dive into this huge next week. Like,
yeah.
I have some thoughts, you have some thoughts, and to me, it's just a movie that's totally ripe, probably in like a decade, for it to get the Halloween treatment where they pretend none of the sequels happened and then just do a direct sequel to the first one.
That would be amazing.
I think that's what it needs, but it's going to be really hard to do that 10 years later.
Yes, I agree.
With the same characters, like you'd have to have a completely new cast. I mean, all these original, actors are all in their, 50s, 60s now. So it's just, it's tough.
They replace everybody except Ian Malcolm because Jeff Goldblum is just like the man. I love Jeff Goldblum.
He's one of a kind. I mean, that's for sure.
Yeah, totally.
I also watched the movie The Black Phone. It's in theaters right now. I will say I did not go to theaters to see it, but I watched it. It is a pretty solid thriller / horror film. It's based off of a Joe Hill book. Joe Hill being Stephen King's son. It's not really a book. I guess it's a short story, but I haven't read the short story. But it's really good. I enjoyed it. I think it's a well done little kind of small. It's clearly not a huge budget horror film, but it's like really enjoyable. I think it's creepy at times. What's his name? Ethan Hawke is in it.
Oh, nice.
I dig it. Jeremy Davies from Lost, and I'm sure other shit, is also in it. And it's just like a really solid little thriller. If you're looking for something cool to watch and feel like popping into a theater, it's not a bad way to spend the evening, so.
Nice.
I recommend that. And I think that's pretty much it.
I gotta watch the new Bill Burr special. Came out.
I haven't watched it yet either.
Oh, you know what else I watched? I watched that new Dave Chappelle.
Oh,
it's like short. It's like he basically is like talking to like a school basically that he went to or something like that. I don't know. It was okay.
I didn't watch it.
It wasn't really a stand-up comedy. It was more like a speech. There was funny parts, but like
it
wasn't really like it wasn't like a bit thing. It was like just a conversation. So.
Sure. I think he was doing like something for like he was opening like an auditorium or something, or I don't know.
Yeah, they wanted to rename it the auditorium at the school after him,
and he said no, right?
And he said no. Yeah. So
I probably won't listen to it or watch it, but like I love Dave Chappelle's stand up and stuff. But I mean, a commencement speech or whatever the fuck, and I don't know.
It's short. Yeah. I watched it assuming it was going to be a stand up, and it wasn't. So
yeah. I do want to watch that Bill Burr one though.
Me too. Yeah, I need to see that. I saw him live not a few weeks ago. So
yeah. Is it the same set?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. So other than that, obviously, we got to get into Miss Marvel finale.
Miss Marvel finale.
Spoilers for Miss Marvel finale. What'd you
this
think?
Marvel series as a whole.
Yeah.
It was good. I really liked the last episode. Thought it was great. I was wondering what the hell they were going to do for an hour because they kind of wrapped everything up the week before. But yeah, it worked out really good. We kind of revisit damage control and them trying to kind of like go after her friends and stuff like that and find her and find Kamala. And yeah, I liked it a lot. I thought it was really good. I thought it was fun to see her get to really use her powers in a big way. Like we got to see lots of action scenes of her, you know, trying to use her powers in different ways, which was a lot of fun. And then we get to see what's the guy's name? I can't remember her friend's name, but he gets powers as well. And she's trying to like stop him from like hurting people and stuff. And yeah, it was fun. I really liked it. And I really liked Miss Marvel way more than I thought I was going to.
Yeah, same. I think going into it, like we kind of talked about last week, with low expectations, made it really rise above those expectations. And I think it's actually probably my second favorite Marvel television show. I think
it's up there for me.
A little lower than Loki for me. I really liked Loki, but I think this is my second favorite one. And yeah, I agree. I think Amon Vellani is as fantastic as Kamala and Miss Marvel, and just extremely likable as an actress, and the story and everything involved. And I liked the historic aspects of it, and I just like the storyline to it. And I think the finale had a lot of cool little action scenes where they clearly saved a lot of the budget for this episode. Yeah. There's a lot of, fucking shooting and explosion type shit and going on and whatever. And, yeah.
And big hands and big.
Yeah.
People.
All her abilities and shit are really showing off. But, it had some comedy elements. It had some heart tug moments with her dad and
I like that
I just really enjoyed it.
Like the integrated texting and stuff. It seemed like that went away for a few episodes, but it seems like it's back in this one. So
I assume it's whoever was directing the episodes that really
maybe it just didn't work with the story they were telling. Maybe it just seemed too playful or something. I don't know.
It's very Edgar Wright in in that first episode and that last episode, but I don't know who directed all the. Let's see here. See if it says. Yeah, so the first episode and the last episode were directed by Adil and Bilal. I don't know who they are, but those were the directors. And then the middle episodes were directed by different people. So
maybe that's
why. Yeah, but I love the show, and obviously we got to talk about the ending of the episode because I mean it's massive implications for the rest of the MCU. So again, spoilers for Miss Marvel if you don't want to hear what happens, because this is pretty huge. So
then turn down for what?
Every time I hear that song, it reminds me of the Houston Texans because they had a player named J.J. Watt, and so anytime you hit the field, they play "Turn Down for What" because his name is Watt. So yeah, every time I hear that song, it reminds me of J.J. Watt.
Well, you're welcome.
Yeah, but yeah. So we're finally getting fucking mutant.
We are.
And yeah, so the episode ends where basically her friend had analyzed her DNA and tells her that he's not necessarily sure the bangle is what's giving her powers, that she has a mutation within her DNA. And then in the background music, we hear the X-Men animated series riff. Yeah, it's just kind of hidden in in the background music, but it's definitely there.
It's not hidden, but yeah.
Well, it's not, but it is. It's in the background. My friend Chris that watched the episode didn't even hear it.
Oh, really? How could you?
Yeah.
Especially if you know it.
Well, he does. He's a huge X-Men fan, but he really wanted it to be Inhumans. And he's really disappointed that they're not doing anything with the Inhumans. And he's like, I understand. Right. I'm one of 4 people that care about the Inhumans, but he's like, I was really hoping that this was the Inhumans in too.
I'm pretty sure the Inhumans have been around longer than the mutants have. I'm pretty sure. I know the mutants have been around forever. The mutants have been around since 75. No.
Yeah.
Earlier than that.
I don't know.
But I think Black Bolt, Medusa, and Gorgon have been around, who are Inhumans, have been around for
he loved Black Bolt.
I know they were Jack Kirby and I know they're old. It's old. I know that.
Yeah.
So.
anyway, I mean, yeah, he recognizes that he's a very small percentage of the fan base that wants Inhumans, but
Yeah.
he was disappointed that they're going the mutant route with her rather than the Inhuman route. But I'm stoked. I love that they're going the mutant route. I love that we're finally getting some push towards a mutant future.
Yes.
I really think that, you know, the what do you call it? The team that's hunting her in that episode.
Oh yeah, whatever they were called. I can't remember what they were called.
I have a feeling that they're gonna evolve into some kind of mutant hunting team, you know.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously they're setting up huge things with or the Marvels as well. Directly tying
First mutant Kamala into Carol Danvers' story, and Carol.
Right.
But the thing is, you know, that's how Rogue gets her powers, right? If she steals Carol Danvers' powers. So, wonder if we get to see that somewhere down the line.
I think that's what they'll probably be the third movie, is my assumption with Captain Marvel. Is I think the second movie is going to be her kind of taking Kamala under her wing and dealing with whatever's going on there, and setting up like the mutant storyline or whatever. And then I think in between the second and third movie, we'll get an introduction to Rogue at some point. And the third movie will end with Rogue zapping her powers and killing her or whatever.
That would be interesting.
But yeah, like it made me so much more excited for the future movies to come. And like, I mean, beware out there that there's a ton of Black Panther spoilers going around right now, and apparently a majority of the script has leaked. Like, whether it's confirmed or not, like there's a ton of spoilers.
I read it. Did you read it?
Yeah, I read it, but I don't want to leak it now, just in case people don't want it
either.
Yeah,
I mean, it sounds interesting, but
no, the idea of it sounds interesting, and I mean, I know it's gone through a ton of script revisions and stuff, and like. The idea that if that's true, what we read, then I think that's interesting, and I think it makes me very excited for the future of the next phase of the movies. So,
me too.
And then
I'm excited that we're getting Namor finally, and it makes me wonder if they're going to make Namor a mutant, because in the Marvel universe, he's the first mutant.
Yeah.
So
my assumption is that's what it's going to start setting up, and. I mean, we know that Fantastic Four is coming without revealing, much so far. That, obviously again, this is spoilers, I guess, but that in Doctor Strange we get, a glimpse at what could be Fantastic Four, but we're getting also a ton of casting rumors right now that that's not the direction they're heading. So, I don't know. I'm very interested, and I think next week with Comic-Con and everything like that, we'll get a lot of announcements, and I think we'll get the casting announcement for Fantastic Four next week.
I wouldn't be surprised. I feel like there's going to be a lot of casting, and there's going to be a lot of information about what this phase is heading into at Comic-Con next week, I think.
And I think we'll get the Black Panther trailer. So
I do too. Yeah, totally.
Especially with all the leaks and rumors, they're going to want to get that out as soon as possible.
Did you see all the leaked stuff for Quantumania too?
I've seen a little bit, but I didn't know if there's newer stuff.
There's like a full storyline out. Yeah.
Oh, really? I haven't read it. No.
Looks good.
I'm excited, man, and it's strange because we have to wait till November for Black Panther, and then I think it's February or March for Ant-Man. So it's going to be like only 2 movies over the next 6 months.
That's okay.
It's fine, but like we've gotten so much content in the last 3 months that it's like kind of going to be a little bit of a downtime,
Well, hopefully they'll be able to space things out now that things are moving at a more normal, consistent pace, right? I know a lot of stuff at the beginning was delayed because of COVID and so.
But I have a feeling that we're going to get a Fantastic Four movie as the announcement too of it's coming late next year, because I think as of right now, the last part of this phase is announced for, I think, July, being what?
Blade? No, Blade's next year.
Blade, they haven't given a date at all, which I wouldn't be surprised if they talk about that a little bit too. But
Yeah.
The last movie, what is it that comes out? Oh, it's the Marvels. It's July, I think, next year.
That's the end of Phase 4?
Well, we don't have an announcement after that, but I think Fantastic Four is supposed to be the end of this phase.
Right.
So I think that's going to get announced for like November next year. But I don't know. We'll see.
I guess we'll see. Yeah, I guess we'll see. But yeah, I'm excited about having mutants finally. I mean, for anybody who knows me knows that, like, you know, I don't really do Captain America and Iron Man and the Avengers, like, comic book wise. Like, I was never a fan of those characters. It was always X-Men for me. So it's like to finally hopefully start getting some X-Men into the MCU. That the thought of that makes me pretty excited. So, and the fact that we're starting with Kamala, I think is really cool. And I like that they flipped it from an Inhuman to a mutant. Especially because I felt like, you know, they kind of did this thing back in 2014 or 12 or something like that, where they stopped pushing X-Men because they didn't own the movie rights and basically replaced them with Inhumans.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it was so forced. And they did this big event where, like, you know, these Terrigen mists, like, basically unlocked Inhumans and a bunch of people who, like, had sleeping Inhuman cells or whatever. And, like, all of a sudden there was this huge insurgence of, like, new Inhumans. So it's like, I'm pretty happy that we're getting away from that.
Well, they even announced that movie.
Yeah.
There was supposed to be that Inhuman movie
that never materialized.
Yeah, they delayed it, then they canceled it, and they turned it into a television show, and it bombed.
Yep.
So
I'm happy that we're finally moving into mutant times. So it's nice to see, and you know, even though Kamala in the comics was an Inhuman, you know, I know they were, like, an interview just came out with the creator of Kamala Khan, and she said that the plan was originally to make Kamala a mutant. But because Marvel Comics wasn't pushing the X-Men at the time, and they were pushing the Inhumans, they figured it would work in their favor to have this fresh new character be an Inhuman instead of a mutant. So,
yeah, no, I dig it, and I love that the push is back on mutants now, and we can move forward with, you know, fucking X-Men, and hopefully we get something for Gambit. Finally, that's all I want.
To be honest with you, if I really got to pick with where we started, Gambit would be down the line a little bit. Because I really would love them to start with the OG 5. Like, I would love to see Beast, Cyclops, Angel, and Iceman, and Jean.
I think they will, because Marvel has been pretty good with, like, giving fans at least somewhat of what they want from the origins of the characters, and, like, even if it's just, like, temporary, giving them their, like, original uniforms in some way, or, you know, stuff like that, where there'll be callbacks definitely within the show, like, to the origins of the story. So I think that we'll really start with, like, Rogue for sure, and Beast, and, like, I wouldn't be surprised, but
yeah. I would be fine if they sprinkled in the non-original 5 into other stuff. Like, I would love to see Wolverine in the MCU even before he's an X-Men, and, like, have him do an episode, a movie with Hulk or something. You know what I mean? And, like, that'd be pretty sick. I would love Storm to show up in Black Panther. I'd love Rogue to show up in Captain Marvel. Like, you know, start putting these guys in place, and then you can do a movie or two with the OG 5, and maybe in the second movie you add in another 1 or 2 or something. And then, you know, you start breaking off the original 5 in movie 3 and start supplementing with, like, Wolverine and Rogue and Gambit and whoever else and Nightcrawler, you know? So
I can't wait for, like, to see that phase where all of a sudden we're getting a bunch of X-Men movies throughout the phase. Like, I cannot wait.
I know. It'll be nice.
All right, we're 40 minutes in. We should get to Thor.
We should get to Thor.
So,
spoilers
for
Thor
Love and Thunder. What did you think, brother?
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was good. I don't understand what the fuck everyone's complaining about. But I guess you just can't make the thing is, and you'll have to let me have this little quick rant here, but, like, like, I get that it's okay. I don't think it's as good as Ragnarok for sure, and I do get people's argument that he's kind of, like, dumber, but again, like what do you do with a character like Thor? Like, the way I kind of think of him is like, it's a lot like Superman. It's like, it's pretty hard to kill. You know, he's going to almost always have the upper hand in every fight. And it's like, you have to do something to kind of like level the playing field. And like having him be kind of like a dum-dum is like, to me, it's a lot of fun. Like, it's a lot of fun. So yeah, I really like it.
I think too, like the first two movies where they made him like a serious, like fucking action hero type thing, it didn't work. It was boring. The movie sucked.
Boring.
And you had to change it to a more comedic tone to make it like likable in any way. And I don't know. I don't understand the complaints either. I loved it as well. And I think, I agree. It's not as good as Ragnarok. Ragnarok is, you know, S tier fucking Marvel, and it's one of the best Marvel movies ever done.
I agree. I think Ragnarok is up there with some of the best. So,
and it'd be a very difficult movie to beat, regardless. I think if you tried to make Ragnarok again, like I think if this movie would have been Ragnarok Part 2, I think there would have been complaints about that too. So I think
I agree.
Doing something different was definitely a gamble and a risk, but I think personally for me, it paid off. I loved it. I thought it was hilarious. I think it's the best movie in Phase 4, and like I laughed.
I don't think it's my
time.
favorite of Phase 4, but I still really liked it. I think my one thing that I'll side with everyone complaint wise is like, again, like everyone's like, well, it doesn't really move his story forward, and I'm just like, what's that?
It does to me. Yeah, I think.
Well,
I think the way it ends.
Everyone said about how like, so a lot of the complaints I saw was that people are like, didn't we just spend a movie about him finding himself, and then didn't we do it again in Endgame? And I'm like, is that what this is about? I didn't really think that this was about him trying to figure out his place. Like,
I don't think it was about him finding his place. I think it was, he knows kind of who he is now. He's gone through, you know, the loss of Endgame and that like traumatizing aspect, and he was ready to move on with his life and love. And I don't know, like I think this movie perfectly sets up the next iteration of Thor. Like now we get the you know, spoilers again. So, but now we get to see him Daddy Thor. Like, yeah. I think that's a definitely fun, interesting, different direction for the character of him and his daughter fighting alongside each other. Now, you know, does that work, and what is the tone of the movie and everything like that? Does it go back to an action movie? Does it stay kind of comedic? Does Taika come back and direct it? Like, these are all like, you know, up in the air questions, especially with Taika taking on Star Wars. You know, does he even want to come back to do the next movie? I know there's a lot of fans out there that don't want him back to do the next movie. Yeah. Personally, I think that's insane. I think we got the two best movies in the series by Taika. So,
I agree.
To me, let him do whatever he wants at this point. But I think it perfectly sets up the next iteration of what's to come. I mean, we get all the stuff with, you know, Zeus and you know, in the end tag, obviously it sets up Hercules and like that's the next big thing. Obviously, is it's going to be Hercules hunting him down, him and his daughter fighting alongside each other and doing whatever they have to do. And I don't know. I loved it. I'll never understand the complaints about the movie. I laughed the entire time. I found it utterly enjoyable. It flew by. It was a quick 2 hours.
It was.
It's hilarious. The goats the entire time. Every time the goats were on screen, I fucking laughed.
Me too. Every single time I heard the screaming goat, I was just like that introduction part where they bring them into the ship with the Guardian ship. I was fucking dying. I was like crying laughing. I was laughing so hard. It was so funny. Yeah. And then like I love the things I loved the most about the movie were I loved the goats. I loved all the scenes between Thor and Stormbreaker, like how he would be like looking at Mjolnir, and then all of a sudden you just see Stormbreaker just kind of like come out of the side of just like
every time it made me laugh too. It was like the girlfriend that, you know, was kind of annoyed that he's looking the other way at a different girl.
It was so funny. I loved it.
I laughed at so every time. Hard. Yeah, Korg was great.
Same. I loved Korg. I guess the thing is like I'm hearing a lot of the same complaints about the people who are saying it's too goofy and too much of just a comedy. They're like, we don't need Korg anymore. We don't need like I had friends who like didn't love the Stormbreaker stuff. Like,
I mean, I get that everything works differently for everybody, and like
Me too.
comedy especially is very like
it's
you know,
subjective.
subjective as hell, and you know,
Yeah.
like we were talking about like Bill Burr earlier. Like, not everybody's gonna like Bill Burr. Bill Burr's very, you know, can be overly, you know, offensive almost. Like,
I remember when I saw Bill Burr a couple weeks ago. I think he was like 4 minutes in and he said something, and I looked at my buddy Andrew that I was with, and I'm just like, if Kate was with me right now, she would have got up and left it by now. It's like,
but that's what I mean, right? It's like, it's not for everybody. There's a lot of comedy out there, and there's comedians for people that I would never understand and get, and I wouldn't find funny at all. Like, comedy is super subjective, but I think there was something in this movie that was going to make you laugh. I don't care where you're from or what age you are. Like, there's something in this movie that's going to make you laugh.
Mm-hmm. I like Gordon's like recaps of like what's been happening, and like those were always funny. Like,
yeah,
Jane
I think
Fonda kept calling Jane Foster Jane Fonda.
Yeah, I think like the one thing I read, and I can't remember where I read it to point it out to anybody, but is this movie would have worked better if the entire thing was from Korg, like Korg telling the story, where the silliness of the movie then would have worked better because you would have thunk of it from the eyes of Korg.
True.
And that would have made the movie, I think, a little bit different and like less silly, because you would have said like, oh, some of this might not actually be happening, and it's Korg like exaggerating the situation or whatever. I can't remember where I read that to give credit to, but I agree with. Like, I think it would have worked better that direction, but I don't know. Korg is hilarious.
I still liked it. Yeah, I still liked it. I really liked Christian Bale as Gore. Thought he was a lot of fun and pretty interesting, and I love how they did that whole section of that fight scene in black and white. I thought that was like super cool and very different, and like surprising that they did that. Like, it's not like we were black and white for like a minute. We were black and white for like a whole battle scene, right? And I thought that was really cool.
I love Gore.
I wish we could have got more with him. Like, I feel like it would have been cool to see him, like, you know, killing, you know, like doing more killing of gods and like watching people try to like, you know, watching the people of those gods, like then, you know, flailing because their god has just been killed or slayed or whatever, right? Like, it would have been cool to see more of that stuff.
It needed another 2 god killings to really like make Gore more terrifying and like really understand that he's out there like butchering all these gods. Like, I think that's kind of what it was missing. And like, apparently this movie had like the original cut was like 6 hours or something like that they like dramatically cut it down. Like, there's tons of footage they didn't use and tons of cameos they didn't use.
Yeah, I heard about the cameos that got cut. So like, apparently he filmed like 2-3 versions of each scene, and like he didn't know like which one would work and which one didn't. And then he said like once he got into the cutting room, like there was entire sections of the movie where he's just like, the day we were shooting this, it was really funny and it worked, but now watching the film like in sequence, it just doesn't fit. It doesn't work. Well, I can imagine that it probably eventually feels bloated, especially if it's like, here's another Korg joke, here's another screaming joke.
But I think it would have, like, if you maybe even adding just like 20 minutes to this movie of like a couple scenes
that would have helped.
Thor, killing a couple more characters, maybe a little bit more with Natalie Portman. And I think it would have really like been perfect. But
it's cool to see Darcy back again too. I didn't expect that.
Small cameo, but
Selvig too. Eric Selvig too.
Yeah, no, I mean, I love Darcy, and I hope she's in more shit to come, because I think she's just fucking funny in the shows that she's in. So, and it was sad. I mean, like, seeing the way Natalie Portman's arc went, it was sad, and I feel like it was like almost a little undeserving for her character. Like, I think it would have been kind of cooler if like she was more deserving of the hammer, and not like Thor basically whispered to his hammer that, you know, if she needs it, she can use it. Yeah, like, I'd rather it have been like, no, she's worthy of doing the hammer. And
to be honest, I liked that, because to me that was my, like, at the beginning of the movie, like, but when, like, I felt like at the beginning her story was like super rushed. It's just like, hey, I'm in a chemo chair, And then
Yeah.
it's like, oh, now I need to get Mjolnir, and then now I'm Thor, and I'm just like, whoa, what the fuck just happened? Like, we didn't get anything. Like, it just happened, and like I didn't love it. But then once she explained it, I was like, oh, okay, I actually like that quite a bit better, right? Like, and even with Thor being like, I need you to always protect her, and like, you know, keep her safe or whatever, right? And I was just like, I love that. I love that they added that in, and it makes, to me, that makes sense. That makes enough sense, you know? So
I just think
oh, sorry, go ahead.
it would have been better if she was like worthy of wielding it on her own. To me, like she's good intentioned and pure of heart and like whatever in her own right, that she didn't need Thor telling the hammer to protect her. She was just worthy of wielding the hammer herself. Like, I think,
yeah,
I don't know.
But I mean, also at the same time too, right? It's like, I feel like there's more than just a couple people in the world that could do that. And then it's just like, now all of a sudden you have all these other people who can wield the hammer too. Like, I don't know.
I mean, like, I just look at it as like Cap was worthy. Maybe,
but
she
I
was
mean,
too.
if you look at that, it's like, think of how many doctors there are. It's like, you know, there's thousands and thousands of doctors in the U.S. Maybe half of them are ass fucks, and then like the other half are like good people who would do anything to save a patient. And like, so what are now all these thousands of doctors going to be Thor's too? I don't know.
Well, I'm not saying it has anything to do with being a doctor or anything. I just think, you know, she's one of the, you know, just one of the lucky ones.
That, like, being a good person is, like, I get it, but like,
yeah. There's like a lot of good people in the world. I understand.
Like, to me, if they wouldn't have included that part in that scene where Thor says, always protect her, always make sure she's safe or whatever. Like, if they didn't include that, I would have had a massive problem with her being able to get that hammer.
See, I wouldn't have. I think it would have worked better for me, but that's fair.
Yeah. Because to me, I'm just like, this isn't just like some weapon. It's like, pretty specific.
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of null and void because, you know, I mean, she's dead. So, I mean, maybe they'll have an arc in the next movie where she escapes Valhalla, like, or something like that. Like, who knows? But, or he rescues her from I don't know. But, I also kind of feel
she's gonna stay dead. She's gonna stay gone.
I kind of feel like that's the way to end the series, though. Is like Thor dies and then meets her in Valhalla. Like,
oh yeah, maybe. If we see,
I can't see them
be in that context, I think. But
yeah, I mean, to me, I think Thor 5 will be the last Thor movie. I can't see them doing another one after that too. So
hard to say. I guess.
I mean, I never thought they would get this far. So.
I like Hemsworth as Thor, so like the more
as long as he wants to play, keep doing it.
Yep, exactly. So I don't know.
I loved it. Yeah, I mean, even like the Zeus stuff, I thought was really funny. Like seeing all the gods in that room, I thought it just really worked. The Guardian stuff, like I thought was like a little short, but
I expected it to be short. I expected them to be out by the 20-minute mark, and they played right into it. So I love that opening battle. It was fun watching all of them struggle, and then Thor's just like, I'm here, I'm gonna fuck everything up. So,
it was good. And like, I mean, I love Guardians. I can't wait for that third movie. So
me too. I'm very excited.
Yeah. I wish it kind of had like an end arc where it set up that movie, but that's fine.
Mm-hmm. I like the new costumes. Like, I like their new costumes a lot. I thought they look pretty good. So I don't know. I don't get the hate, but I mean, I guess everyone's gonna hate, right? It's like, even the other day, the Hasbro Marvel Legends team they put up for pre-order a 3-pack of the No Way Home Spider-Man. So they made like a brand new sculpt for Toby and for Andrew, fully new sculpted bodies, all pinless, and like updated articulation, but they didn't give them unmasked heads. Like, none of them have unmasked heads. It's just, they gave them all 3 sets of hands, which doesn't usually happen with Spider-Man movie figures. But no unmasked, and like everyone is just like ripping them to shred. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding? Like, you literally just got 2 brand new sculpts. Like, we've had the Tom Holland one before, but like, and then they updated the paint on Tom Holland stuff, and they gave us all these new hands. And it's like, everyone, or not everybody, but there's like a lot of people who are like, oh, typical Hasbro. I'm like, dude, they're giving you this is what you guys have been asking for, and you get it, and it's just like how there's just no pleasing people. It's just like
No.
After the other day and that, I'm just like, I don't understand how anyone can look at what we just got and be like, oh, this is horse shit. Like, of course Hasbro cheaps us. I'm like,
Right.
what the fuck are you talking about?
No, I mean, I agree. I don't think it's possible to make everybody happy on anything. Like, I think there's always going to be a hater of everything, and there's always going to be somebody that loves everything. The worst thing ever could be the best thing ever for somebody else, and vice versa.
Yep.
Like, it's just the way life is, and that's the way art is, and which makes it interesting, but it also makes it
too, right? Nerd community is very outspoken and they're happy to tell you you're wrong just because they think you are. So
yeah, but I think in the age of social media, it's so easy to be anonymous, fucking rage monster on Twitter and scream at a company. But, in real life, these people would never be doing that to somebody's face. And, nobody actually feels that way on a day-to-day basis. They see something and then all of a sudden they're pissed off. And so in that moment, they're saying something that they probably wouldn't say 20 minutes later if they were calmed down.
You can keep talking. I have to go and deal with my dog. Sorry. Hang on.
No worries. I do it every episode 27 times. I can hear him. But yeah, no, I like I said, there's no way to please everybody, and there's going to be a fan of every movie, and there's going to be a hater for every movie and every action figure and so on and so forth. So I'm happy with Thor. I thought it was great, and it made me very excited to see what's coming next, and the next Thor movie, which I assume we'll get in Phase 5, but probably, I don't know, you got to assume 2025, probably 2024 at earliest, but I assume 2025. Depending on if Taika wants to come back or if they have to go back to find a new director, or it's going to be a waste.
Taika will come back.
Depends what he does with Star Wars, right? Like if
maybe
from the sounds of it, he's writing Star Wars script like currently, and then he has to get approval for it. Then he's going to have to shoot it. Like it could be a 1.5, 2 year process to make this next movie. So.
The thing is you can always drop Thor somewhere else in the meanwhile, though, right? Like, you don't need him to be,
Yeah, sure. You could cameo.
He shows up again in something else, like Guardians again or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but if the end of this phase is going to be next year, then, they easily could make Phase 5, 2024 through 2027 or something like that. Yeah. He could show up in May 2026 for the next Thor movie, and it's fine. Like it's
yes, exactly.
Just got it movie. There's so much stuff
out of the realm of normal, right? So
yeah, there's so many things that they're going to need sequels to, and if X-Men starts pouring in and Fantastic Four, like their direction is going to dramatically change. So
yeah, true, very true. That is true. But yeah, no, I'd say overall with Thor, man, like I quite liked it. That was pretty funny. I enjoyed everybody in their roles. I liked Tessa Thompson a lot as Valkyrie. I thought she was great. I really liked Korg again. Like he just makes me laugh. I liked transitioning Meek. I thought that was pretty fucking funny too.
Meek was great, yeah.
And it's just like, again, it also makes me think like, a lot of the people being vocal about how much they dislike this movie. Like I feel like they're also the ones who would have an issue with like Meek transitioning to being a female and like having like Korg be gay and Tessa and Valkyrie be gay and having a female Thor. It's like I do notice that the people who are usually vocal about that stuff are also the ones who have an issue with anything that's not a white man.
Yeah, whitewashed fucking yeah. I agree totally.
Yeah, I feel like some of that explains itself.
Yeah, but my argument, you're never going to change these people's minds on those type of things, but like we're 29 fucking films into this fucking universe. Like there's room for more characters and different outlooks on life and different backgrounds.
It's not
in
like
life.
You're losing out on any other content. I mean, look how much content we've gotten.
That's what I mean. Like we're more movies into this fucking franchise than basically any other franchise in history. Like,
yep.
Like just let it be, man. We've gotten so much good content that like these are the people that are gonna fucking bring this shit down and ruin it is all this hate and fucking racism and bullshit that happens online. Like If you don't like something, that's fine. You can say I don't like something, but don't be a dick to people online.
Yeah, it's annoying. It makes the internet a less enjoyable place to be.
Yeah, totally. I don't know. I totally understand going on Twitter and saying like, hey, I saw Thor and it wasn't for me and this is why, and I didn't find it to be what I wanted it to be. Criticism is totally fine. I just criticized Jurassic World Dominion. Like I criticized Resident Evil. It's not a great movie or a great show, but you can still be, decent about it, not be an asshole.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I don't know either, but
it is what it is. I give Thor Love and Thunder 2 overflowing milks of moose milk.
2 overflowing milk. Yeah, I also give it 2 giant frosty glasses of moose milk with a side of bacon.
Whoa. I don't like bacon, but you can eat the bacon.
You don't like bacon?
No. I'll eat it on pizza, but that's about it.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. Why wouldn't you eat it on pizza? It's the best.
I mean,
this is the best.
If it was my choice, I would say you can save the bacon. I don't eat it, but if somebody ordered pizza with bacon on it, I'm still going to eat it. Now, if you put pineapple on that fucker, I'm going to throw you out of my house.
No. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so I don't know. I loved it. It's my favorite movie of Phase 4. That's
nice.
my...
Not my favorite of Phase 4, but I still really liked it. I think
what is Spider-Man?
I think Doctor Strange is my favorite, but I did like Spider-Man better too. So I'd say Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, Thor. But I also like Shang-Chi a lot too. So, but I don't think
Shang-Chi
it's as good as Thor.
I would go
still
Thor, Spider-Man, Shang-Chi. I think
I'd probably say Thor is like a 7 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10 probably for me. I think I think the biggest losses for it is we have an amazing villain and we spend not enough time getting to know why he became a villain. Like, I feel like he had a cool story. It was pretty unique. And like, I feel like it would have been way cooler if we could have seen more of him. But yeah,
especially
I also like that we got Sif back too, by the way. I thought that was cool. And that she lost her arm. I thought that was also very cool.
No, I agree. I agree with everything you said. And it's weird that Christian Bale needed more screen time. I mean, you don't cast Christian Bale and not use him because he's just a fucking great.
Like
great
all
actor.
The scenes between him and Thor, especially in that black and white world where he's like jumping back and forth between Jane and Tessa, and I'm just like,
but even him and the kids in the cage and shit. Like I thought he was terrifying when he's talking to the kids and just like I don't know. I loved him. I thought he was fantastic in it.
That's a thing we didn't touch on too. That final battle where Thor enchants the weapons of all the kids and turns them into Thors. Yeah. Again, I was like, this is fucking amazing. Like, what an awesome idea.
Great. Yeah, totally.
And all of their kids were in it, right? Like Taika's kids are in it, and Thor's kids are in it, and Jane's kids are in it, and very cool.
Yeah, no, I like that they brought all their families in on it, and I like that potentially the next film could be like Chris Hemsworth and his daughter playing in the movie. Like, I just think that's a cool dynamic, and
I agree.
It very much reminded me of the God of War game.
Yes, reminded me of that too, even though I don't game, but I know what it is. So
yeah, well, the most recent game, like the whole storyline is basically, a father and his son kind of going through the world and kind of finding a relationship and dealing with, being a god and ending gods and killing gods and so on and so forth. And this movie definitely had like elements of that, but it definitely looks like the next movie could have more elements of that. I don't want to spoil the game for people that haven't played it, but there's elements of the game here, and obviously the game is inspired by mythology and all that kind of stuff too. So they're kind of playing off each other in a way, but
right,
Anyways, it was great, and so I recommend it. And anybody that hasn't seen it, sorry we spoiled it for you, but you were warned. So
you were warned, unless you came in the middle and then we spoiled it. In that case,
well, it's in the title. What do you want me to do?
Yeah, it's in the title. Read the books. Read the title.
Jesus. Come on, dog.
Come on, dog.
Yeah, so next week we are going to do a full breakdown on Jurassic World Dominion and our thoughts.
Dinosaurs.
And how we would have done a sequel and what we hoped out of the future of it and everything like that, whether there is more or not. that will be our next week episode. And then after that, we don't know. We'll figure it out as we go.
It's true. We'll figure it out.
But continuing on Saturdays. So remember, from now on, Saturdays.
Saturday.
But yeah, Matt following
Evil Crickets.
I don't know what that
What
means.
up, easy to read names?
Evil
Where's it
Crickets.
going? I don't know.
All right. If you're not following Matt, follow at Customs by Matthew and go over to his YouTube channel and subscribe because he's doing his lives every Wednesday. And
9 p.m.
yeah, he's doing customizing this week again?
Yeah, probably one more week of customizing. And then back to the shelves.
Cool.
So I'm going to finish off the other 2 figures I have on my shelf, on my desk right now. And then I'll take a break and go back to finishing my shelves until they're done.
Oh.
Yeah.
So go over there and subscribe to his channel on YouTube. You can find the link in his profile.
You can.
Add him on Instagram at Customs by Matthew. You can follow me at Moose Milk Media. I also have a YouTube channel you can subscribe to, and you can get the podcast in audio only form on podcast services of your choice. The podcast art is done by at Janie Milne Art, and that's the end of this episode. We thank everybody for watching and coming into the comments and all that shit. And yeah, we'll see you next week.
Thanks for coming.
Always. See you, buddy.
Okay, see ya. Bye, everyone.